What's wrong with me? I was so well loved. My family was great to me. Today we're going to delve into the unique dynamics that shape the experience of being the golden child, breaking down 5 key traits and their underlying causes. Have you ever felt like you're expected to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, even when it's not yours to bear? Do you ever find yourself questioning your own decisions, wondering if they'll measure up to expectations? If you relate to any of these feelings, you may be the golden child in your family, and this video is for you. Being the golden child means that we were the favored child in our family. We are often overachievers, feel pressure to always be the best, and can even get away with things that our siblings would get in trouble for. This golden child experience can follow us into work or school settings where we're the favorite employee or student, always at the top of our groups, but the expectations placed on us can be heavy. We can feel like we have to be the very best at everything all the time. And if we can't keep it up, we let everyone down. Before we begin, it's important to note that being the golden child isn't the same for everyone. While this video focuses on the over-empowered and overly nurtured golden child, some of you may have experienced a different dynamic altogether. Perhaps your parents weren't as involved, or maybe you didn't receive the same level of attention. Every experience is valid and unique. Now let's dive into the 5 traits commonly seen in golden children and explore what drives them. Number 1, pressure to perform.
Okay, do it one more time.
I don't want to practice my dance anymore.
So you don't love mommy?
Of course I love you, Mommy.
Well, if you love me and you want to make this family proud, you will put a smile on your face and you will practice dance.
The golden child often faces unrealistic expectations. You might feel like you're constantly under pressure to excel, to be the best, to live up to an idealized image that's been projected onto you. Golden children often find themselves navigating a world where success is not just encouraged, but expected, where any deviation from perfection feels like failure. Growing up as the golden child means being showered with praise and admiration for even the smallest achievements. Parents and siblings alike heap on the accolades, creating an environment where success becomes the norm, and anything less feels like a disappointment. This constant validation can lead to a skewed perception of reality where failure is seen as unacceptable. Imagine Sarah, the golden child in her family. From a young age, Sarah's parents praised her every accomplishment, no matter how trivial. Whether it was a good grade on a test or a simple household chore, Sarah was always met with praise and adulation. As she grew older, Sarah internalized the belief that she had to excel in everything she did to maintain her status as the golden child. Fast forward to adulthood, Sarah finds herself constantly striving for perfection in every aspect of her life. Whether it's her career, relationships, or personal endeavors, Sarah feels an overwhelming pressure to succeed. Even minor setbacks or failures trigger feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Despite her outward success, Sarah struggles with the burden of unrealistic expectations placed upon her. Do you relate to any of this? Feeling like you have to constantly prove yourself, even when it feels impossible? Let me know in the comments below. Number 2, identity entanglement. Identity entanglement is when your sense of self becomes enmeshed with the expectations and desires of others, particularly your family. Golden children often find themselves caught between who they truly are and who they're expected to be, leading to a sense of confusion and inner conflict. Growing up as the golden child means having your identity shaped by the perceptions and expectations of those around you. Parents and siblings project their own aspirations onto you, molding you into an idealized version of themselves. And this constant pressure to conform can blur the lines between your own desires and those imposed upon you by others. Consider Alex, the golden child in his family. Now, from a young age, Alex's parents groomed him to follow in their footsteps, pushing him to pursue a career path that aligned with their ambitions. Despite having his own interests and passions, Alex felt compelled to fulfill his parents' expectations, fearing disappointment or disapproval if he deviated from the path that they laid out for him. Fast forward to adulthood, Alex finds himself torn between his own desires and the expectations of his family. Despite achieving success in his chosen career, Alex feels a profound sense of emptiness and dissatisfaction. He struggles to reconcile his true identity with the person he's adopted to please others, leading to feelings of confusion and disillusionment. Have you experienced identity entanglement? Feeling like you're living someone else's life instead of your own? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Number 3, emotional dependency. What is emotional dependency? Well, it's when you rely heavily on others for validation, support, and emotional stability, often at the expense of your own autonomy and well-being. Golden children may find themselves trapped in a cycle of seeking external validation to feel secure and loved, leading to a deep-seated fear of abandonment or rejection. Growing up as the golden child often means being showered with affection and attention from family members. This constant praise and validation can create a strong attachment to others, particularly parents and siblings, as a source of emotional support and validation. Golden children may struggle to develop healthy coping mechanisms and self-soothing skills, relying instead on others to regulate their emotions and provide a sense of security. So what could this look like? Let's take Emily, for example. As the golden child in her family, Emily grew up receiving constant praise and affection from her parents and siblings. She learned to equate love and acceptance with external validation, seeking reassurance and approval from others to feel worthy and valued. As a result, Emily struggles to trust her own judgment and cope with emotional challenges independently, turning to others for guidance and support even in minor situations. Fast forward to adulthood, Emily finds herself caught in a cycle of emotional dependency, relying on her partner, her friends, and her family to validate her worth and to provide her with a constant sense of security. She struggles to assert herself, make decisions autonomously, fearing rejection or criticism if she acts independently. Despite her outward success, Emily's emotional well-being remains fragile, dependent on the approval and validation of others. Do you relate to this pattern of emotional dependency? Feeling like you need others to validate your worth and provide you with emotional stability. How many of these 3 signs we've discussed do you have so far? Number 4, fear of autonomy. What is the fear of autonomy? Well, it's when you feel overwhelmed or anxious at the thought of making decisions and taking control of your own life, preferring instead to rely on others for guidance and direction. Golden children may struggle with the concept of autonomy, fearing the unknown and doubting their own ability to navigate the complexities of adult life independently. Growing up as the golden child often means having decisions made for you, or being shielded from the consequences of your actions. Parents and siblings may have taken the reins, steering your life in a direction they deemed best, leaving you feeling ill-equipped to make choices and to assert your own autonomy. This lack of independence can breed insecurity and self-doubt, leading to a reluctance to take ownership over your own life. What could this look like? Well, let's consider Daniel, the golden child in his family. Throughout his childhood, Daniel's parents and siblings made decisions on his behalf, from choosing his extracurricular activities to planning his academic path. While this initially provided a sense of security and direction, Daniel grew increasingly anxious about the prospect of making decisions for himself. He doubted his ability to navigate the complexities of adult life without the guidance of others, fearing failure or disappointment. Fast forward to adulthood, Daniel finds himself paralyzed by indecision and fear of autonomy. Hesitating to take control of his own life, he relies heavily on others for guidance and direction, seeking reassurance and validation before even making minor decisions in his life. Despite his desire for independence, Daniel struggles to assert himself and take ownership over his choices, fearing the unknown and doubting his ability to navigate life without the safety net of others. Does a fear of autonomy resonate with you? Maybe a little bit? Do you feel overwhelmed by the prospect of making decisions and taking control of your own life? Number 5, avoidance of responsibility.
I'm so tired. I worked 3 days this week, and this is the first time I've had a chance to just sit down.
Whoa, wait a second. You got a job?
Yeah, I've had a job for 2 weeks, and you would know that if you ever came over.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I've had a job since I was 16 or so, so, I mean, yeah, you get busy. What kind of job is it?
Oh, here we go. It always has to be about you, because you're so,
Why do I even ask?
Honey, your sister's had a really hard week. She's just trying to connect with you. And maybe she would have been out into the world sooner if you had been a more supportive brother and helped her find her way.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go. I can't do this with you guys.
Oh, of course. You always just have to leave because you're so mean and you can't even take it when somebody calls you out. You just have to take it.
Avoidance of responsibility is when you shirk duties or obligations, preferring to pass them off to others rather than taking ownership and accountability for your actions. Golden children may struggle with responsibility, avoiding tasks or decisions that require extra effort or commitment, fearing failure or that the consequences of their actions are going to be too much to bear. Growing up as a golden child often means being shielded from the consequences of our actions or having responsibilities taken care of by others. Parents and siblings may have shouldered the burden, protecting us from failure or adversity, leaving us feeling ill-prepared to handle challenges or take ownership of our own responsibilities. This lack of accountability, it can breed a sense of entitlement or apathy, leading to a pattern of avoidance and evasion. Now let's look at Sophia, the golden child in her family. Throughout her childhood, Sophia's parents and siblings took care of her every need, shielding her from the harsh realities of life. While this initially provided a sense of security and comfort, Sophia grew accustomed to having others take care of her responsibilities. She avoided tasks or decisions that required effort or commitment, preferring instead to rely on others to bail her out. Fast forward into adulthood, Sophia finds herself avoiding responsibilities, shirking duties or obligations that require effort and commitment. She relies on others to pick up the slack, avoiding confrontation or accountability for her actions. Despite her desire for success and fulfillment, Sophia struggles to take ownership of her responsibilities, fearing failure or the consequences of her actions. Do any of you golden children relate to the avoidance of responsibility? Some of you may feel the exact opposite. Being the golden child can also sometimes play out in feeling overly responsible. Do you identify with that? Being the golden child comes with its own set of challenges and complexities. From the outside, someone might look at your life and think, you've got it made. You might even find yourself in therapy saying, what's wrong with me? I was so well loved. My family was great to me. Why am I having such a hard time? My parents did everything that they could for me. But hopefully this video has helped you see that golden children may have experienced being loved, but not always being loved for who they truly are, flaws and all. Let me say that again. Some of you may have been loved, but the question I have for you is, did you experience being loved for the fullness of who you are, the good and the bad, in success and failure? While the experience may vary from one individual to another, hopefully these patterns offer insight into the dynamics at play and validate what some of you might be experiencing. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this video. I'll see you next time.